Upon entering her plant, Maple is extremely lost. All she can see around her are blocks and rectangular-like shapes. She flies towards a rectangle, only to be bounced back. She realizes that she has encountered the cell wall. The cell wall is the outermost layer that protects a plant's organelles. She realizes that she needs to string herself further in order to get through the tiny nooks and enter the cell. As soon as Maple gets through the thick cell wall, she comes to another difficult obstacle. Right next to the cell wall, there appears to be a surprising amount of goo, which makes up the cell membrane. She can see clearly that this is used to regulate what comes in and out of the cell. Then she continues to swim through the cell and approaches a green, triangle-shaped structure. This seems to be this chloroplast, she thinks to herself. When she looks at the triangle closer, she sees that the sunlight coming in from outside is combining with water and carbon dioxide gas to form sugar and oxygen. Everything seemed to be working correctly, so she decides to continue her search elsewhere. When she turned around from the chloroplast, Maple bumped into a spherical shape. When she looked closer, she saw that each ribosome was combining different proteins. Immediately after she saw how the ribosomes were working, she also saw long cylinders with the same spheres on them. She now realized that this was the rough endoplasmic reticulum. She also saw a part of the cell that looked the same, but without the spheres. This, she realized, was the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The long cylinders were there to transport materials throughout the cell, and in the rough reticulum, the ribosomes were produced in sacs to emphasize the amount of proteins that were combined. Once she got on the smooth ER, she was transported to odd layers of the same material. She came to the conclusion that this was the Golgi body. Here, she figured, was where the bulk of transportation occurred, because everything was just layers and layers of the smooth ER, endoplasmic reticulum. As soon as she realized this, she decided that going on one of the cylinders would make her journey to find the problem so much easier. Boop. Trying to figure out what the problem was but not finding anything wrong with the cell made Maple feel extremely frustrated. The longer she looked through her plant cells, the more worried she got. Out of the corner of her eye, Maple saw some bright sparks coming from a zigzagged semicircle. As she got closer, she saw that this is where the cell got its energy that it needed to move, also known as the mitochondria. From there, Maple had a bright idea. Knowing that the nucleus is the brain of the cell, she decided to go there next and see if there would be any signs of weakness coming. Once she got to the nucleus, she saw that all the DNA in the cell that provided it with unique characteristics was working properly. But she remembered that there was one place she hadn't checked yet. She couldn't believe that she forgot to check the largest part of the cell. In the vacuole, she could clearly see that there was not enough water for the plant to stay upright. She decided to leave the plant cell and go back to her normal size. This way, she could see if this was what was actually wrong with the plant. The plant was lacking the nutrients it needed to thrive, and the vacuole didn't have any materials or water to store, which caused the plant to wilt. By knowing what happens in all parts of the plant cell, Maple made sure never to let her plant get in harm's way ever again.